So one of the most common questions I get is, will this certification land me a job? I've heard this about the Google Data Analytics certification, the AWS CCP, the IBM Data Analyst, and many more. The short and unsexy answer is it depends on how you use it. See, there's a reason why these courses or certifications exist. They're supposed to be teaching you the skills needed for that specific niche or role. However, if all you did is take the certification and nothing else, the chances of you landing a job will be very slim. In this video, I'll show you how to leverage these certifications to land a job, and if you stick till the end, you'll also learn how to stand out from the competition of thousands of other applicants who also have taken these certifications. To those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Ranesh and I'm a data scientist working at a tech startup. Not too long ago, I had no experience and I was looking to take my first certification too. I was able to use certifications to help me land 8 internship offers and eventually a full-time job. So as I mentioned before, the purpose of these certifications are to teach you the skills and tools of the trade. For example, the Google Data Analytics certification is designed to give you a high-level overview of the data analytics field. They teach you tools like Google Sheets, Tableau, R, and SQL, which are common tools and languages that are used in the industry. They also share some common workflow, statistical techniques and methods, and also what questions to ask to clarify stakeholder requirements. So if a certification can teach you all of this, you might be wondering, why can't I land a job? Well, that's because landing a job is about packaging. The process of getting a job and the process of learning the skills needed to get a job are two separate things. A lot of people tend to default to, I'm already qualified for this job, or I already learned the tools needed for this specific role, but they don't really think about how to sell themselves or package themselves in a way where other people can see that too. Think about it. If you just write Google Data Analytics or AWS CCP certification on your resume, how are people supposed to understand that you know how to use R or Python to analyze that data, or even use S3 buckets to store that data? That's why you should focus on how to package those skills to sell yourself better to the employer or the company. There's a couple of easy ways to do this. In fact, I talked about some of them in my previous videos, but your goal when packaging your skills is to figure out how you can land more interviews or callbacks. Generally, most companies in the US use something called an applicant tracking system to manage and monitor their applications. It's basically a system that ranks and sorts candidates from best to worst to help filter them out for the recruiter. These days, a regular job posting gets on average about 300 to 400 applications, so it makes sense that a recruiter doesn't want to skim over all those resumes. Based on my research, the way they rank these candidates is by using an ideal profile that is created by using the questions you answer throughout the application process and also the job description itself. For example, if you're filling out a job application, you might have come across a question like, do you have 2 years of experience with Python or R, or do you have work authorization in the country of. So once you understand this, things get a lot easier. You essentially have a blueprint of what they're looking for and what you can work towards. You can utilize things like the language, the requirements, the skills, the technologies and tools, and even the values or whatever else you can find on the job description to help package your resume better and boost your success rate. For example, if the job description mentions required experience with Python or R to do A/B tests, make sure you use similar language when you're crafting your bullet points in your resume. Or maybe they're asking for something like SQL window functions experience, make sure you use the same language or something similar when you're writing those points. Google also highly recommends using the XYZ format, which basically means did X using Y resulting in Z. Essentially, what this does is it makes it a lot easier for a recruiter to quantify your impact and understand your experience. Various studies have shown that recruiters tend to spend about 6 seconds on average looking through your resume, so you want to make sure you make the most out of it. If they can tick all their boxes within that 6 seconds, you're more than likely to land an interview or even a callback. Also, it's super important to use an ATS-friendly resume template so the applicant tracking system can parse and understand what your resume says. This means no images, plain color schemes, legible text, and clear sections. The most common, and in my opinion, the most successful resume template is Jake's resume. It's simple, clear, and gets the job done, so I highly recommend sticking to that. I'll leave a link to the template down below. These days, I also see a lot of people having multi-page resumes. Generally, it's recommended to have a one-page resume unless you have more than 10 years of experience. To those of you who've submitted your resume on the Discord server for review, I noticed that you like to dump all your experience on it, which is why it exceeds that one-page limit. I think the best course of action is to have a separate Word document where you can keep track of all the relevant work you've done, which could include volunteer work, projects, certification, courses, and anything else. Then when you're making a resume to apply for a specific job, you can pick and choose specific skills that best fit the job description. This way you can get rid of all the fluff and focus on the experience that matters most to them. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is how you can utilize the labs and projects from these certifications. Most of these certifications that I mentioned tend to have a very hands-on learning roadmap, which could include stuff like coursework, labs, quizzes, or even projects. These projects are designed to simulate real work scenarios, so if you've done them, I highly recommend utilizing them on your resume. I'm gonna use the Google Data Analytics certification as an example again. The two capstone projects not only go through the skills needed to become a data analyst, but also some common challenges that they face, such as bad data quality, techniques to use, questions to ask, and visualization preferences, and many more. If you can word it right on your resume, you can show that you're capable of handling these challenges and overcoming them, which is a great selling point to a recruiter. I also strongly recommend focusing on the visibility of these projects. By this, I mean ensuring there's a seamless way for the recruiter to view your projects and ensuring that the skills you've listed down in your resume are legit. You can use platforms like GitHub, Kaggle, Figma, or any other platform that you can think of to help package that project into a hyperlink that you can include on your resume. I personally have my own specialized portfolio just because I think it's more professional and I think the packaging just comes off a little bit better. I made a 10-minute video going through the exact steps that I took to make my portfolio. It's completely free. If you're interested, go ahead and check it out. I'll leave it linked down in the description box below. The reason why packaging matters so much is because it can make or break your application entirely. Companies need to know that you can do what they need you to do. So if you're able to show that you're capable of doing that using projects on your portfolio, or maybe even using the XYZ format, or reusing the language in the job description, you're gonna be able to persuade them much easier. If a company recognizes a certification or a course you took, it's gonna be much easier for them to validate your skills, but if they don't, it's your job to show it to them and encourage their trust. Some of you might know that not too long ago I was hiring an intern and every single person I interviewed had taken the Google Data Analytics certification. I think the reason they passed the ATS scan and even the initial phone screen is because they packaged their experience so well that they got through. Like I said before, thousands of people can take a certification, but not many can use it to land a job. My advice to you is to find certifications that are well known or learn how to market what you've learned. Certain certifications like the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner are very well known certifications that many companies use to validate their clients' skills, or some even use as a requirement to get through the door. Honestly, these days, even the Google Data Analytics certification is getting pretty popular and many people have heard of it. It's also important to note that some of these certifications are designed to be introductory, so if you're looking to land an intermediate or a senior role, these certifications alone will not be enough. If you've gotten this far into the video, I hope you understand how to leverage these certifications to help you land a job. It's also very important to understand that many certifications are designed to teach you the skills needed to succeed in a role, not land you the job itself. And if you're solely relying on the name or title of the certification to impress a recruiter who doesn't have the same background as you or might not understand the significance of the learning material, you're probably just going to be disappointing yourself. Anyway, if you found some value from this video, I would appreciate if you left a like down below or even consider subscribing. It would help the channel out a lot. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below or ask them in the Discord server. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to learn more, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video.